Every 15 minutes, one person falls victim to landmines. 1 million people have been killed or injured by anti-personnel mines. Over 300,000 children and counting are severely disabled because of landmines. Half of the individuals who step on an anti-personnel mine die from their injuries before they can be found or taken to a hospital. We've all heard of mines and know how they function. But after watching this video, you will realize just how horrific and brutal this weapon truly is. The majority of its victims are actually civilians, often innocent children, as well as wild and domestic animals. Mines are, in essence, weapons of prolonged horror that continue to maim and kill for years, even decades after conflicts have ended. Their dark legacy makes them one of the most harmful and controversial forms of weaponry humanity has ever created. It is estimated that there are about 110 million active mines around the world today, with approximately the same number waiting to be deployed or destroyed. Although around 100,000 mines are removed annually, it is estimated that up to 2 million mines are laid each year, indicating a rising number of mines waiting for their victims. Mines are explosive devices that are usually buried just below the surface of the earth or camouflaged on the surface, and can be activated in various ways, including pressure, tripwires, or other booby trap methods. What is particularly dangerous about mine explosions is not just the explosion itself, but also the shrapnel and metal objects contained within them, which are equally lethal. The primary goal of laying mines may be defensive or to direct soldiers into certain areas. The initial deployment of what we now recognize as landmines occurred during the U.S. Civil War, crafted by Confederate Brigadier General Gabriel Rains. These early mines, referred to as torpedoes, were pressure-operated devices fashioned from 8-inch and 10-inch artillery shells equipped with pressure triggers. Even then, General Sherman vehemently criticized their use, declaring it not war, but murder. Since then, the development of anti-personnel landmines has progressively focused on minimizing the metal content to evade detection. The larger buried blast AP landmines are potent enough to severely injure or kill those who inadvertently step on them. Yet, many are designed with a lesser quantity of explosives, aimed merely to wound, undermining enemy forces by consuming more resources for evacuation and treatment, thereby hindering their advance. Post-World War II saw landmines employed globally, sometimes in strategic, marked minefields, which aid post-conflict clearance efforts. However, their indiscriminate use has also left vast regions dangerously contaminated, rendering them uninhabitable and unusable for agriculture ever again. There are two main types of mines: anti-tank and anti-personnel mines. There are also sea mines, designed to defend harbors. Sea mines have proved catastrophic to naval vessels, but unlike landmines, they were usually monitored more closely. Among anti-personnel landmines, several distinct mechanisms and intended injuries are notable. Bounding mines. These devices are engineered to spring up to about 1 meter before detonating, scattering steel balls radially to strike not only the limbs and torso of the initial victim, but also anyone else nearby. The lethality primarily stems from these fragments rather than the blast, which quickly dissipates in such an open-air setting. The German bouncing mines known as S-mine, also called Bouncing Betty by American troops, had the ability to cause severe injuries to the lower extremities, abdomen, and groin area, earning it the nickname castrator. This made the S-mine especially feared among infantry. Stake and claymore mines. Both are types of ground-based fragmentation landmines. Stake mines distribute their deadly fragments radially, whereas claymores are directional, typically deployed to guard occupied positions or to block specific routes. Claymores can be triggered by victims or activated on demand by defending troops. Buried blast mines. These mines pose significant issues for clearance efforts. They are mostly responsible for lower limb injuries and amputations. The explosive content varies, from the Russian PMN mine with 240 grams designed to kill, to the PMA-2 with 100 grams, down to the M14 US landmine with 28 grams, which is intended only to wound. Larger anti-tank vehicle landmines target up to main battle tanks and include basic blast types and more lethal penetrator variants. These deploy a thick copper disc propelled by the explosion, transforming it into a high-speed, high-mass projectile targeting the underside of vehicles. When a landmine detonates, the immediate impact on the human body is devastating and multifaceted. The primary mechanism of injury comes from the intense pressure wave generated by the explosion. This wave hits with such force that it can crush internal organs and break bones instantly. The overpressure can rupture eardrums and lungs, causing internal bleeding and potential death from shock and organ failure. Simultaneously, shrapnel, consisting of metal fragments from the mine itself and surrounding debris, becomes lethal projectiles. These fragments pierce the skin and muscle, embedding deep within the body. The shrapnel can sever arteries and veins, leading to rapid blood loss, and can also cause complex, contaminated wounds prone to severe infection and long-term disability. The aftermath of such injuries is a painful and long recovery process, often involving multiple surgeries, prolonged hospital stays, and a lifetime of physical and psychological rehabilitation. When burying landmines, various techniques are employed to complicate detection and removal, enhancing their lethality and preventing easy disarmament. These methods are designed to make the process of demining riskier and more complex. One common technique is placing a hand grenade without its pin beneath the main mine. If a deminer attempts to lift the primary mine, that would release the spoon of the hand grenade, causing an explosion. This method ensures that even if the primary mine is detected, removing it without detonating the secondary device becomes significantly more difficult and dangerous. Pressure release triggers are also used, which activate the mine if there is an attempt to lift or shift it. These triggers ensure that any disturbance of the mine's position leads to detonation, making standard disarming techniques ineffective. Additionally, mines are sometimes placed under the bodies of dead soldiers. When enemy forces or rescue teams came to retrieve the bodies, they would trigger the mine. Another technique involves the use of decoy objects. Mines might be buried with metallic debris or shrapnel scattered around or above them. This tactic aims to confuse and slow down the process of mine detection, as metal detectors will pick up numerous false signals before finding the actual mine. Mines are also often buried deep enough that they require significant excavation to reach, which increases the time and effort needed for removal and heightens the risk of triggering the mine during the process. Some mines are designed with minimal metal components to reduce their detectability by conventional metal detectors. These mines might use materials such as plastic or wood, making them almost invisible to traditional detection methods. For example, during the Vietnam War, the Viet Cong cleverly mined a critical narrow passage that was the only viable route for American tanks. Suspecting the area was mined, American forces used metal detectors to scan the passage but found no mines. Despite 2 clear sweeps, when the first tanks proceeded through, a massive explosion occurred. It was later discovered that the Viet Cong had used bamboo and powder to construct the mines, making them undetectable by the metal detectors. The strategic placement of mines in patterns that are difficult to predict is another method to hinder safe removal. Randomized or irregular patterning of minefields can prevent deminers from easily guessing the safe paths through an area, forcing them to check every possible inch of ground. These methods shows us how landmines are designed not only to inflict casualties, but also to create zones of terror that persist long after their initial placement. Few jobs carry the dangers that demining does. For every 5,000 mines cleared, 1 deminer loses their life and 2 more are injured. Moreover, a mine might cost as little as $4 to make or acquire. Yet removing it can cost anywhere from $300 to $1,000. Demining, particularly within military contexts, is a routine yet risky operation. Combat engineers are often tasked with clearing paths through minefields to secure safe passage for troops or vehicles. Techniques have evolved from the rudimentary method of prodding the ground with a stick or bayonet during World War II to the use of early metal detectors. Yet, the cruelty of war has seen some of the most brutal tactics, such as forcing local civilians to march through minefields to clear them. Dogs, first employed during World War II for mine detection, remain vital in this field. However, dogs are not the only animals involved in mine detection. Rats have also proven to be very effective due to their small size, high intelligence, and keen sense of smell. Such animals are employed to narrow down search areas due to their ability to sniff out explosive chemicals. But ultimately, humans must perform the hazardous removal work. Nowadays, the technology of demining mostly involves the use of heavily armored military vehicles equipped with devices like tillers, flails, or rollers designed to churn the soil and detonate hidden mines. Yet, this method does not guarantee the removal of all mines. Innovative detection techniques are continually being developed, but none have yet reached the reliability required to fully replace human involvement. Today, mines are more destructive than ever. Beyond just burying them, landmines can be deployed from the air by planes, included in bombs, or dispersed via cruise missiles. For example, aircraft might bomb an airfield and subsequently drop mines to eliminate anyone attempting to rebuild it. Long after hostilities have ceased, the exact locations of these mines remain unknown, leading to tragic accidents by unsuspecting civilians. Additionally, environmental factors such as rain and floods can alter landscapes, shifting minefields and obscuring their original locations even further. The Ottawa Treaty, aimed at banning anti-personnel mines, has been signed by many countries, but notably not by some of the world's major powers, including the United States, Russia, and China. So, it is not helping a lot. If military use of landmines were to cease today, according to a 2003 report by the RAND Corporation, with an estimated 40 to 50 million mines deployed globally, and only about 100,000 mines being cleared annually, it would take approximately 500 years to eliminate all landmines at the current rate of removal.